Hello, my name is Ryan Ashker. Welcome to Sports News right here on CW57. It's time to get in the game. The Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association Board of Control approved the recommendation of Executive Director Dave Anderson to name Stephanie Hauser to an Assistant Director position on the executive staff. Hauser replaces Marcy Thurwacher, who will retire from the same position with the WIA on June 30th. Hauser's responsibilities with the WIA will include the administration and coordination of duties for the sports of cross-country, track and field, gymnastics, volleyball, and softball. She will officially begin her appointment with the WIA on July 6th. Previously, Hauser served as the athletic director for Stevens Point area high schools for 8 years while overseeing 22 sports. The University of Wisconsin Stouts' Adam Wider has been chosen the recipient of the 2015 WIAC Max Sparger Baseball Scholar Athlete Award. Wider, a senior from Wauwatosa, maintains a 3.63 GPA and is majoring in vocational rehabilitation, criminal justice, military science, and leadership. He is a three-time member of the WIAC Scholar Honor Roll, a 3-year recipient of the ROTC Scholarship, and has claimed the UW Stouts Chancellor Award for Academic Excellence 5 times. Wider is a team captain for Stout and received all WIAC Honorable Mention recognition in 2012. He made 7 appearances on the mound for the Blue Devils during the 2015 campaign. In order to be nominated for the award, a student athlete must have a minimum of a 3.5 GPA and must be in the last year of competitive eligibility. The University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point claimed the 2015 WIAC baseball tournament title with a 15-7 beatdown of UW Whitewater. The tournament crown is the 11th in program history and 8th in the last 11 seasons for the Pointers. UW-Stevens Point also earned the conference's automatic bid into the NCAA Division III Championship and will participate in the event for the 16th time in program history. UW Whitewater will also make the NCAA Division III tournament. 4 former WIAC athletes have earned the right to fight for a dream job in the NFL. After the 2015 NFL Draft, teams are allowed to try out and sign undrafted free agents. Among the hundreds that will get an opportunity, 4 former WIAC athletes will get a shot at the league. Participating in the Minnesota Vikings rookie minicamp this weekend will be UW-Stevens Point safety Zach Valesky, along with UW Whitewater quarterback Matt Bellert and defensive back Randy Grayvold. Warhawk wide receiver Jake Kummermau already inked a free agent contract with the Cincinnati Bengals following the draft. The Madison College baseball team has won the 2015 NJCAA Region 4 sectional tournament with a dominating win of 11-2 over the College of Lake County during last week's championship game. Madison College put 6 runs on the board in the first 2 innings. With the win, the Wolfpack advanced to the NJCAA Region 4 tournament. Thank you for tuning in to Sports News, brought to you in part by the Red Zone. We'll be right back after this. Hello and welcome back to the Sports News. Right now we are joined by Middleton Athletic Director Bob Jors. Bob, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me. So anytime I can talk about Middleton Athletics, it's a fun time.
And it would be a fun time for you because there's a lot going on with Middleton Athletics and a lot of it's very, very good as well. Can you give us an update right now on how some of the spring sports are doing and what we can look forward to for Middleton?
Sure. Well, we're winding down. We just won our golf conference, so that was exciting, as well as our boys track also won conference. We have a couple teams that are vying for conference championships right now.
Fantastic. And what we want to talk about a little bit today is you mentioned some of those track athletes, baseball athletes. A lot of them are multi-sport athletes within Middleton. How is that something that you guys have done such a good job balancing those multi-sport athletes so they can not only excel on the field, but excel in the classroom as well?
Yeah, very good. We probably have around 125 3-sport athletes that are continually in sports, and another 400 to 500 that are in at least 2 sports. So it's very demanding time, and besides sports, you're as an athlete or just a person going to school, you have to balance a lot of things going on at school, your family life, and just having fun. So we rely a lot on the coaches to be involved in what those athletes are doing, and that each coach is not drawing the other one away from a sport, just being in tune to what's going on a little bit, and they've done a very nice job at that.
And being in tune with how the athletes are excelling or something they might need work on. Middleton has been very proactive in injury prevention among their multi-sport athletes and athletes in general. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you guys do such a good job taking care of your students?
Sure. proactive. You really have to watch what's going on. Use your strength and conditioning coaches, use your coaches, and use your athletic trainer. If a sport is having a problem where certain athletes are getting injured in a certain area, let's go find the root cause of that. Also, just being proactive, checking in on sports, multi-directional use of their bodies, and just preparing them so that they don't get injured. We've done a nice job at that.
With that, you mentioned some of the more aggressive sports, I guess football obviously being one of those. What are some of your thoughts on the concussions that are going on in football at every level, from high school all the way up through the pros, and how that suddenly within just the last couple of years has become a very big deal in that sport?
Yeah, well, it has, with good cause. And I think the signs and symptoms that we use or prepare our coaches to be proactive with and see that, so an athlete doesn't actually tells when they're not feeling good or something like that, and can get them back into the game after they've gone through the protocol, as well as our parents watching out for that. We've done some things, not just making sure helmets are correctly fitted for the beginning of the season, but continually doing it each and every week, and it's really dropped our numbers in concussions, so we're pretty proud of that.
It's definitely something to hang your hat on. Bob, running out of time here, but I want to thank you again for coming back into the sports news. Always appreciated.
Well, thank you, and have me back.
Bob Jors, Athletic Director of Middleton High School. We'll be right back with more of the sports news. Hello and welcome back to the sports news. Right now we are joined by our good friends from WIAC Athletic Director Brian Smith. Brian, thanks for coming back in today.
No problem. Glad to see you again.
So, spring sports. WIAC always has great athletics here in spring. Tell us a little bit, give us an update on how some of the teams are doing over there.
Well, I'm pretty excited this spring as we roll into conference tournament season here next week. Our boys and girls track team both have a shot at the title. Our boys tennis team, our boys golf team are in the hunt for a conference championship yet, as well as our girls soccer team all have opportunities to win a conference title this upcoming week or two. So it's an exciting time of year, so we're doing very well.
How much room do you guys have left in the trophy case at WIAC? You guys seem to be racking up hardware every time I talk to you.
We can build more.
Talk about your job a little bit. Some of the challenges that you have dealing with spring sports. You have a lot of seniors that are getting ready to leave the school, so having to deal with that and upcoming graduation and all the other things these student athletes have to worry about. How does that affect your job?
The spring is very unique, obviously. The spring sports start in March, so you're spending a lot of time indoors, and then when they finally do get outdoors, you're contending with rain and cold temperatures, and obviously the weather it dictates what we do. So you just work with the other athletic directors and the coaches to reschedule if need be, because you want the obviously field conditions to be safe and playable. You want the kids to be playing in an environment that's fun and they're doing their best versus just worrying about staying warm and getting through the deal. So as you roll into May, like you said, graduation, there's also fine arts concerts, field trips, a lot of awards nights that schools have. So you've got to balance all those things out. And the ADs in our conference and the teams we play work very closely and communicate with each other. So we make sure we're getting the games in that the kids want to play in, yet they attend their other events too. So it can be very challenging if we get a rainy stretch in May and April.
Very, very busy time for the spring sport athletes. With tournament time coming up, what is the outlook? What are some of the expectations you have for your athletes?
Well, it's a very exciting time of year, obviously. Both fall, winter, and spring, the tournament time is exciting. Like you said, with graduation and the end of school year, that kind of throws a different kind of excitement in for the seniors. Obviously, underclassmen have final exams and those things, which is a little extra stress for them. But yet, you roll in a tournament series and you compete to get to that state tournament, regardless of what sport it is. It just is different in the spring because a lot of cases school's out when the state tournament is being held. So, but it's still fun. We get to host sectional finals this year in soccer and in softball, and those are great games. And when you host that game or play in that game just before the state tournament, those are intense, exciting games, and the kids are really putting forth a great effort. It's a fun environment.
Great environment. I can't wait to watch some of those coming up. Brian, thank you again for joining us out here on the Sports News. Always great to have you.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Brian Smith, WIAC Athletic Director, will be back with more of the sports news in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to the Sports News. Right now I am very excited to be joined by Peggy Erdman, racetrack director and PR person for the Dodge County Speedway Association. Peggy, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me today.
And our viewers should be as excited as I am. Racing returns to the Dodge County Fairgrounds this year. Tell us a little bit about that and how everything came to fruition.
Yes, absolutely. Dodge County Speedway Association was formed literally last year with a group of about 9 people wanting to bring racing back to the horsepower half mile. One of the premier tracks in Dodge County, a lot of history at that track. So we got together, had a race September. We start our full season on Memorial Day weekend. We couldn't be more excited about it.
I know I'm excited too. I'm excited because I'm actually going to be out there announcing for the track this year. So Sunday nights, head on up to Dodge County and say hi to us and enjoy some great local racing. Speaking of their racing, what divisions are we going to be having at the track this year?
We will have this year the IMCA Modified, IMCA Sport Mods, Street Stock, Grand Nationals, and our new added late model class. So we're pretty excited about that.
Oh, fantastic. And so a lot of great local racing at the track, the horsepower half mile, as you said. For spectators that want to come out and watch a night of racing, what's it going to cost them?
Grandstand admission is $10 for adults. 12 and under is free, and we have student 13 to 15 for $5. So we're making it a family-friendly, affordable event.
And as you mentioned, a family-friendly, affordable event. And with that, the track is doing a lot more than just the races. What are some of the other events and things like that people can look forward to?
Absolutely, Ryan. We have a kids club this year that's absolutely free, and we have lots of ideas for that. We're gonna have Lamers bus tours, offering a bus every week and doing pre-pit tours with the kids, stopping and meeting some drivers. Weekly giveaways. We have Father's Day program. We're bringing back the junior pedal car races, which is a lot of fun. We have a little racetrack right in front of the grandstand. That's just the kids club alone, much less all the other events we have going.
Wow, fantastic. And you mentioned that the first race is coming up. It is Sunday, the 24th. What does the schedule look like? How late into the year will we be running up there?
We are running Memorial Day through Labor Day. Most Sunday nights, we got a few Sunday nights off with fair promotions going on and whatnot that they have something already booked there, but 12 nights of racing at the horsepower half mile this summer.
Wow, fantastic. And where is the track located for some of our viewers that are interested and might want to take the trip up to watch?
Sure. It is 3 miles east of Beaver Dam. It's a short drive from Madison. You just take 151 north and get off on Highway 33. We're 3 miles up the road on the right.
Very excited for the upcoming season. Peggy, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Peggy Erdman of the Dodge County Speedway Association. Check them out every Sunday this summer at the Dodge County Fairgrounds Speedway just outside of Beaver Dam up in Dodge County. Look forward to it. I'll be up there announcing. Stop on out and say hi all summer long. We'll be right back with more of the sports news after this. Hello and welcome back to the Sports News. Right now I am joined by Sports Director for the UW-Madison campus radio station, Reed Magnum. Reed, thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the student broadcast system that UW-Madison has.
Well, we're really fortunate. I mean, we have some amazing facilities. The university helps fund a lot of that, and we have people who are involved with teaching certain classes on campus, and they're kind of in charge of the whole thing. So we really get to work. We try to do some things with the J School, the journalism school, and we just have some amazing boards to work with, equipment, and we're really, really fortunate.
More specifically with the sports broadcasting side of it, what are you guys able to do? How much access do you have? Because UW-Madison being a big institution, they obviously have broadcast contracts and things like that. How much access do you guys get as a student-run department?
We really get a lot of access. I mean, the athletic department is so generous in the time they give us. We get a chance to talk to a lot of athletes, do interviews. We get to go to all the press conferences that they have. Really, any sort of thing that regular media gets to do, they give a lot of access to us with students. We broadcast over 120 games, so we're doing anything from volleyball to football, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's hockey, softball, even some wrestling in there. So if it's kind of a sport that you can broadcast, we really get access to it. So we're really lucky with everything they let us do.
Now, with all those events you mentioned that you're able to cover, how many students do you have in the department to kind of help out and take on responsibilities?
Right now we have 29, including myself, and we're losing some really good graduating seniors. So with that, we're going to be losing some people, but also we then train people during the semester. So we'll have some trainees come early on in the fall, work with them up until December, and then they become a part of the department. And we usually have around 7 to 10 trainees. So at any given time, it's probably around 35 to 40 people at one time with the department.
It's a very solid department. Now, with that, you mentioned a lot of good graduating seniors, people that have gone through the program. How many of those people on average are going to continue to use this as a career, want to stay in the broadcast field, and how many of them just did it for fun in college?
Well, naturally, it ebbs and flows in a given year, but we have a lot of journalism majors, a lot of mass communications majors, so we have people that'll go on and they'll do baseball play-by-play, they'll do other sports play-by-play. We have a lot of people who get involved in television, so they might work with the news department and they'll do sports and things like that. And we even have one of our seniors going on to graduate school who's going to get involved with a journalism program over at the University of Minnesota, and he'll probably end up doing some teaching in that field. So they kind of disperse out and they do their own thing. Some people get involved in the business aspect. We have one who's really focusing on marketing right now. But we have a lot of people who they want to get into it when they're older, and they're successful and they end up getting a chance to do that.
Reed, we just got a quick moment here, but how can our viewers be able to listen to some of your programs?
So there's a couple of options. You can listen online to WSUM.org, and we have a Listen Now tab that you can click on. And if you click on that, you can listen to just our regular sports talk shows. We have usually about 6 days a week. And then you can also click on the sports stream, which is on that Listen Now tab if you want to hear our sports broadcast. And then in the Madison area, 91.7 FM, WSUM, that's how you can listen over the airwaves.
Fantastic. Reed, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Reed Magnum, Sports Director of the UW-Madison Campus Radio Station, joining us here today. We'll be right back with more of the sports news in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to the Sports News. Right now I am joined by Athletic Director and Head Football Coach at McFarland High School, Paul Ackley. Paul, thanks for joining us here today.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
A lot of things going on, a lot of positive things going on at McFarland this spring. Can you give us an update? How are things going over there?
Yeah, spring sports are kind of on the way now. We're nearing the end of the season with some conference play finishing up and getting ready for conference tournaments or conference titles, hopefully, on our end. It's been an exciting season for us, and then looking to hopefully have a nice long run into the WIAA postseason. We've had some good highlights. Our girls track program is very successful this year with a conference meet coming up shortly. Our golf team and baseball and softball are all near the top of the conference and competing well. We had a very exciting win last night with McFarland and Edgerton at a doubleheader on the second game. Our boys ended up beating them in extra innings, so that was very exciting for our team to have a split on that doubleheader with some good opponents coming up in Jefferson as well as Evansville and Edgerton, like we just had. Softball is strong again this year. It's been a good conference for us this year. Beloit Turner in the Southern Division of the Rock Valley Conference has been a very tough competition for us, but it's been good all around. So we're very excited. Our tennis team has been strong and continues to do well, and hopefully as we near the WIAA tournaments, we get to send some teams or some individuals on to tournament play.
That's the goal. Just all those sports you mentioned, you're in charge of all that, being the athletic director. And on top of that, you still got to worry about the upcoming football season. How are you guys getting prepared this off season, and maybe give us some expectations for McFarland going into next year?
Well, right now I hope that all my football players are out in a sport. I'm a big multi-sport believer. I love seeing kids out on the track or out in baseball or out playing tennis and being involved with different coaches, different teammates, different environment, different sports, and getting their skills developed that way. Once summertime comes around, we want all of our sports, especially the football players on my end as their head coach, to get in the weight room and start, getting fit, bigger, faster, and stronger for the upcoming season, starting up in August. And we start football August 3rd this year, so it's a quick turnaround for some of these kids when some schools around the area are getting out, probably right around mid-June. Mm-hmm. So the weight room is a big part of our preparation for our football players at McFarland and hopefully all the athletes at McFarland. Obviously, we'll have a camp throughout the summertime. The WIAA allows us 5 contact days with our athletes, work over some things that we want to work over offensively, defensively, and special teams. And we get to kick it off with just a great opponent, Monona Grove, with our scrimmage. This will be our second year with Monona Grove in that scrimmage, and it's been a great test for us because we have a ton of respect for Monona Grove and the tradition and the program of football that they've had for many, many years. So very excited about the coaching aspect of it. Yes, it does get a little bit busy in the fall, but it's a great time of the year. Kids get back to school. It's very exciting for teachers and administrators and coaches to see the kids back in the hallways, so it's been a lot of fun.
Just a great year all around for McFarland, especially want to mention the state runner-up for the girls cross country and the boys swing. Paul, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Sports News.
Thank you for having me.
Paul Ackley, athletic director and head football coach at McFarland High School. We'll be right back with more of the sports news after this. Hello and welcome back to the Sports News. Right now I'm joined by Brody Burkle, Marketing Director of the Madison Marathon. Brody, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Glad to be here.
And one of the things with the Madison Marathon most people might not know is it's not just the race itself. There's a ton of events going on all weekend. Can you share with us what maybe competitors and spectators can expect?
Sure. It kicks off on the 22nd, Friday, with a great local expo for the Madison Marathon events. A lot of vendors will be there showcasing what's new in the running industry, so we get a lot of people who might not be participating in our events over the weekend, but they like to come in because of the expo and just really see what's going to be new for the season. And then that continues into the 23rd, leading right up to the Try for Schools Kids Run, followed by the Twilight 5K and the Twilight 10K, a nighttime race, which is kind of rare, and a lot of people like to join in on that. And then on Sundays, the big race, it's the May Madison Half Marathon that it runs around the city, showcases beautiful Madison and what we have to offer.
So it truly is a full weekend event.
It really is. We'd like to take advantage of the long Memorial Day weekend.
Fantastic. And now you change it up from year to year. So what are some people that ran last year? What can they expect coming into this year? What's new?
I think the newest thing is we're trying to add the entertainment value at the end of the event a little bit more. We're going to add some live music from a local band, Wheelhouse. They play some great music at events and we're really happy to have them there. And we're just adding a little bit more to the food selection at the end and the beverage selection at the end as well to just really up what people expect at the end and can stick around and have a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And one of the great things about the Madison Marathon is it's not just a for-profit thing. You help out a lot of local charities and other causes. Who are you guys going to be working with this year as far as charities for the Madison Marathon?
Well, the three primary charities that we'll be working with are Badger Honor Flight, which helps veterans fly over to Washington, D.C. to be able to see some memorials that are in honor of them. My Team Triumph, which helps challenge athletes reach the finish line at events like us by help with angels who help them out along the way. And then, as I mentioned before, Try for Schools heads up our kids run.
Fantastic. And I've heard that the adults get a certain prize, you could say, after the race. What are some other things participants may receive besides an adult beverage?
Some other things that participants receive are a really good race medal. We've been known to give a fun race medal for the event, and we change up the shirts every year just to really make it a unique event and something people can come back to.
Fantastic. And maybe someone like me that isn't in shape to run the full half marathon, how can people get involved and help out?
People can get involved by going to our website, madisonmarathon.org, and at the top they can click on volunteer, and they can sign up to help out a charity by volunteering, and we'll actually give more money back to the community by your help with that charity volunteering to help the racers along the way.
Fantastic. So a great cause, a great event coming out. Even if you don't want to run, go out and check it out, the Madison Marathon. Brody, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks again, Ryan.
Thank all of you for tuning in to the Sports News. Be sure to check me out every Sunday night at the Dodge County Fairgrounds Speedway all summer long. We also want to thank the Red Zone for being a sponsor of the Sports News. And we will see you right here on CW57 next week. The Sports News, getting you in the game.